Sigma, known as a standard deviation in mathematics. Programming, a set of rituals over and over. This is the new way. A standard deviation is a deviation from the norm, but is a standard one. It disrupts the order in a way that causes a course correction. This is kind of like a necessary interruption, a necessary change, a necessary switch of pace, a switch of tempo. So if you come across this page, no, it's not a fraternity or sorority. This is something else entirely. What it is it's a system of encouragement. Although we do have a lot of encouraging material out there right now, commercials, movies, etc. And this is just another form of it with a different spin, a different taste, different texture, a different flow, a different sound, a different personality, different material. Is a standard deviation. Where did I want to bring this standard deviation? And by the way, my name is Torian Lockett. Just another person like you. I got a little bit of background in psychology, a long 20 plus background in public speaking and things of that nature. My target audience, where the standard deviation I felt in my personal path was necessary. See, I grew up in the church, and I always would see a disconnect, especially as time went on, between people who were in the church, in a Christian church, versus their friends who were not involved in any Christian church. You always see this huge disconnect, to the point where meaningful conversations probably couldn't take place because those guards was up, those barriers were up. Language was communicated in certain ways where people were being like spiritually beat up, they felt like. And so it didn't encourage them to want to be a part of anything that their family was involved in. They didn't want anything like to do with church or salvation or praying or anything like that, because family members or friends or associates probably messed up the witness, messed up what it was. So I bring a standard deviation that reconciles these two groups of people, to take all of the religiosity out of Christianity, to take all of the organized religion aspect out of Christianity, and just to use the words for what the words are, not to put anything on anybody or separate any groups or anything like that, but just to look at it for practical everyday uses. I'm not telling you what to believe, what not to believe. We're not doing any of that with our witness. When it comes to this is a different take. I don't even know what they call this. They probably will call this something, if not Sigma programming. They'll call it something where religion and reason meet. You're not trying to push God on people. You're just showing them what you believe God to be from what you learned and experienced. My target audience are those of religion and those of reason. It's both groups. Both groups. I want them to meet in the middle over something known as common sense and things that make sense. Things that they can see in their everyday world. I just want to meet in the middle. I just want to be a mediator. I want us to meet in the middle. So I'll use scriptures as a backdrop to the material, but the tone of it will be centered much more on casual secondary life, everyday routine stuff, everyday routine scenarios. I try to stay away from using personal examples of other people and things like that, because I want to be very general, specific in terms of the scenario and subject matter, but very general. I want to use a lot of words like we and us instead of I and you and me and my. I want it to be very inclusive so we can all be on the level. This is what's on my heart. I want to share it this way. I started this endeavor, this channel, Sigma program, and I started it about 3 weeks ago. So whatever date it is today is like either the 30th or the 31st of January 2021. Got about 7 or 8 subscribers. Each video is probably, it's about 27, 28 videos on there now. They're probably doing like 2 or 3 views a day, maybe. So it's the very beginning. Why am I doing this? Again, I want to bridge and universalize the scriptures. The Bible's been my favorite book, any version. My favorite book. I felt power through practicality in it. And it felt like a lot of magic. It felt very magical. It still does to this day. It just feels magical. Feels like the words jump off the page. They come into my life and show me all kinds of steps to take. Shows me how to read into things. It's just a very insightful and inspiring book, and it guides me, and I center a lot of my core values and principles on it. Do I follow it all the way? As much as possible, I try to condense it into loving God with all that I am and loving my neighbor as myself. I try to hold on to those two, and hopefully that covers everything else. I believe it does, but in terms of the specifics, no, I'm just as human as you are. I make mistakes, but I'm being perfected because this is something that I'm taking hold to. This is my personal journey, and I just want to share it. In a few years, 3 years maybe, I see it being almost like a Hallmark type thing. Maybe there will be people, a whole network, a system of encouragers all across the country. On some level, I'm sure there's businesses probably doing it this way already, but again, I'm just adding my own unique touch to it, my own personal imprint on a sector such as one-to-one personal encouragement or one-to-group personal encouragement, things of that nature. I'm led to follow this because this has been the story of me. All throughout my life, people look to me as the one who encourages, the one who has the positive thing to say to change people's mood, to change situations. I've been looked at and I've been assigned that role. In my family, in my community, I'm looked at as one of the people who are sort of like a life force for people, a life force, an uplifter. So I take my gifts, my passion, my talents, I take it here into cyberspace, speak it out amongst any who will listen. This is a standard deviation from the ills, because we all have ills and see ills and hear ills. This is a standard deviation from them. So it's not an over-reliance on the negative. It's looking at all of the things that could be fixed and just using scriptures to apply solutions to them. I'll try to be as vast in the category, as broad as I can with the scriptures that I pick. Try to pick as many as I can and just do that over and over. I want to be successful doing this. I want to build this into a huge business because this is what I love to do. It's only right to want to support yourself doing what you love to do. It's a gift. It never shuts off. It's not a hobby. Even if I wasn't speaking, I would still hear the messages anyway. So I might as well share it. So this is what I do. I'm a Sigma programmer. So please support the page. We accept donations of any size. Believe me, we're grateful for every bit of it that has come through so far. Thank you for listening to Sigma Programming. This is Torian Lockett saying, have a spectacular day, good people.